Counting up on the alum in this ongoing conversation, Jinger Dugger Vuolo continues to discuss her most recent book, which is titled People Pleaser: Breaking Free from the Burden of Imaginary Expectations. Over the course of the past few weeks, the individual, who is 31 years old, has taken part in interviews and podcasts. Numerous readers have already provided her with a great deal of favorable feedback on her story. Nevertheless, there are other Redditors who believe that Jinger's title is also a significant red flag. Continue to read in order to view the debate. Counting on: what is Jinger Dugger doing with her time amid the launch of her book? While Jinger has been focusing on the release of her book, she has also been making the most of every moment of her pregnancy. As of right now, the former cast member of Counting On is expecting her third child with Jeremy. In a previous announcement, the married couple disclosed that they are expecting a son. In spite of the controversy surrounding her biography, Jinger revealed that her family continues to adore her and even broke the news of her gender during the Christmas party that the Duggar family hosted at their residence. A question and answer session has also been conducted on social media by the soon-to-be mother of 3. When she revealed her interest in returning to reality television, many people were taken aback because it would allow them to share more of their life with the audience. The new memoir of Jinger is raising concerns among fans. There was a discussion on Reddit over a particular chapter from Jinger Dugger Vuolo's memoir, which is titled People Pleaser. According to the poster, the former cast member of Counting On discussed how Jeremy piqued her interest. She also mentioned that Jeremy was typically the one who spoke about his faith and was the one who was behind the microphone. The poster is of the opinion that this is an indication that Jinger, like everyone else, is in need of attention, and that being with Jeremy satisfies her needs. Others concurred and stated that it was a large warning sign. Evangelicals are what they are. Evangelizing to other people is the distinctive characteristic of their religious practice. It is possible that they would be performing the same crap on a smaller and more local scale if they did not have access to this kind of stage. You have made a very astute observation. The only way for Jinger and Jeremy to maintain their financial stability is to rely on the publicity generated by her family's idiot show and the current interest in deconstructing faith, which will soon reach its conclusion. Jeremy is still under the impression that he was a major soccer star. It is Jinger's willingness to accompany him to soccer matches in Los Angeles. A public declaration of his faith, in her opinion, indicates that he is more faithful. In the case of an individual who places a great priority on an evangelical religion that holds significance for her. However, it is not my marriage, therefore it is not something I would be interested in. Jinger Dugger's shocking revelation about marriage is revealed in the show Counting On. Jinger had previously taken part in an interview, during which she discussed a few chapters from her most recent book. On the other hand, the former member of Counting On stunned everyone when she disclosed one of the most unsettling doctrines that she had learned from her previous local church, the IBLP. Jinger claims that they were under the impression that their spouses would separate from them if they did not agree with everything that they desired. Jinger Dugger Vuolo stated, "I will just say that a lot of it started when I was in the teachings of Bill Gothard because there was so much that was drilled into you through what he said about trying to please your husband, and if you don't, he's going to leave you." She went on to say that they will be punished for even leaving the house dirty or not making dinner for their husband on a regular basis. If you are looking for additional information regarding the Duggar family, you should return to Bombshell 25 for all of your updates. In recent years, reality TV has become an increasingly potent platform for individuals seeking to share their life stories, opinions, and personal growth. Among the many notable figures who have used this medium to chronicle their lives is Jinger Dugger, a former star of TLC's Counting On. The show, which centered on the Duggar family's conservative values and large family dynamic, was immensely popular for many seasons. But Jinger, along with her family, has experienced significant changes in the public eye, especially in recent years. Jinger Dugger's recent release of her memoir, Becoming Free Indeed, has garnered widespread attention and, for many of her fans, raised several red flags. The book promises an exploration of her personal journey and her decision to distance herself from the rigid teachings of the Institute in Basic Life Principles, IBLP, the controversial religious group that heavily influenced the Duggar family's lifestyle. While the memoir offers a glimpse into Jinger's personal transformation and her life after leaving her family's ultra-conservative values behind, it also invites scrutiny. Fans who have followed Jinger's journey over the years have watched as she navigated her own path, moving away from the teachings that defined her upbringing. While many admire her willingness to question and change, others are left wondering whether her memoir is a sincere reflection of her true self, or simply another product of the very system she is trying to leave behind. The Duggar Family Legacy, a culture of control and obedience. To understand the complexities surrounding Jinger's memoir, it is essential to first understand the environment from which she came. Jinger Dugger was born into the Duggar family, whose patriarch, Jim Bob Duggar, gained fame through the TLC show 19 Kids and Counting and later Counting On. The Duggars were notorious for their ultra-conservative Christian beliefs, large family values, and the strict codes of conduct that governed their lives. One of the central elements of the Duggar family's philosophy was the adherence to the principles of the IBLP founded by Bill Gothard. The group's teachings emphasize strict gender roles, parental authority, modesty, and abstinence. Women, in particular, were expected to remain submissive to their fathers until marriage, at which point they would submit to their husbands. While many fans of the show admired the Duggars for their unwavering faith and family devotion, others were disturbed by the strictness of the lifestyle and the lack of independence afforded to the children, particularly the daughters. As Jinger and her siblings grew up, many of them followed in their parents' footsteps, adhering to the IBLP's principles and living out the values of modesty, purity, and obedience. However, over time, some members of the Duggar family began to distance themselves from these teachings. Jinger Duggar's journey toward independence and questioning of the teachings she grew up with is part of a larger narrative that has unfolded in recent years, with various family members stepping forward to share their own personal stories of rebellion, growth, and change. Jinger's path to personal growth became clearer when she and her husband, Jeremy Vuolo, moved to Los Angeles, a stark contrast to the isolated and insular world she was raised in. This physical move away from her family was symbolic of a larger shift in her beliefs and values. While she continued to express respect for her parents and the faith they instilled in her, she became increasingly open about her desire to carve out her own identity. Becoming Free Indeed, a glimpse into Jinger's journey. Jinger Dugger's memoir, Becoming Free Indeed, seeks to document this transformation, offering an intimate look at her life, her faith, and her evolving worldview. The book's title alone hints at a theme of liberation, suggesting that Jinger views her journey as one of breaking free from the constraints of her upbringing. For fans who have followed Jinger's story closely, the memoir presents an opportunity to understand her perspective and the reasoning behind her departure from the strict principles she once adhered to. In the memoir, Jinger discusses the process of reevaluating the teachings of the IBLP and the ways in which she came to view them as restrictive and harmful. The book also touches on the impact of her upbringing on her mental and emotional well-being, as well as the challenges she faced in trying to reconcile her faith with her newfound beliefs. This journey toward self-discovery and spiritual growth is portrayed as both painful and empowering, as Jinger learns to trust herself and her own instincts rather than blindly following the teachings of her parents or the IBLP. While some readers may find Jinger's honesty and vulnerability in sharing her story inspiring, others are left with questions about the authenticity of her message. There are several aspects of her memoir that have raised concerns among fans, particularly those who have followed her journey over the years and are familiar with the public persona that Jinger has cultivated. Red flags in becoming free indeed. The inconsistent message of liberation. One of the first red flags that readers may notice in Jinger's memoir is what appears to be an inconsistent message of liberation. On one hand, Jinger emphasizes the importance of breaking free from the IBLP's restrictive teachings and the need for personal freedom and growth. On the other hand, she continues to align herself with conservative Christian values and conservative gender norms, albeit in a more modern and less rigid form. This dichotomy raises the question of whether Jinger is truly free from the influence of the IBLP, or if she is simply replacing one set of constraints with another. Many fans have noted that while Jinger may have rejected the extreme teachings of her parents' faith, she still maintains a deeply conservative worldview. For example, she continues to advocate for traditional gender roles, marriage as a central pillar of life, and the importance of religious devotion, albeit in a manner that is less dogmatic than the IBLP. Some critics argue that Jinger's memoir does not fully explore the complexities of her transition from IBLP teachings to her current beliefs, and that it may gloss over the fact that she is still deeply embedded in a conservative Christian subculture that upholds many of the same values she claims to have rejected. The perception of commercialization. Another red flag that has been raised by fans is the potential commercialization of Jinger's story. Since her family's rise to fame, the Duggars have been known for capitalizing on their popularity through various media ventures, including books, speaking engagements, and, of course, their reality TV shows. Jinger's memoir is no exception to this trend, with many fans questioning whether her personal story is being used as a vehicle for profit rather than a genuine effort to share her journey with the world. While it is certainly valid for Jinger to monetize her story, given her background in the public eye, some critics argue that the memoir feels like part of a larger branding effort rather than a sincere exploration of her personal growth. The book's promotional materials, along with Jinger's media appearances, often emphasize the idea of her as a changed person who has overcome the oppressive teachings of her upbringing, but this narrative can sometimes feel overly polished or rehearsed. For some fans, this commercialization of Jinger's personal story raises doubts about her motivations. Is she truly sharing her story for the benefit of others? Or is she simply cashing in on her fame and the controversy surrounding her upbringing? In a world where personal branding is a common practice, it can be difficult to distinguish between authentic self-expression and the pursuit of financial gain. The lack of criticism toward the Duggar family's role in her upbringing. While Jinger's memoir certainly critiques the IBLP and the impact it had on her life, there is a notable absence of direct criticism toward her parents and their role in shaping her beliefs. Throughout the book, Jinger speaks of her parents with respect and gratitude, even as she discusses the ways in which their teachings constrained her. However, some readers may find it difficult to reconcile this tone of reverence with the critical stance Jinger takes toward the IBLP and its influence. This lack of direct criticism toward her parents has led some to speculate that Jinger may still be holding back in her memoir, possibly due to fear of damaging her relationship with her family or losing their approval. While it is understandable that Jinger would want to maintain a positive relationship with her parents, this avoidance of more critical discussions may leave readers with an incomplete picture of her journey toward independence and freedom. Selective memory and omissions. Another red flag that some readers have pointed out is the selective memory and omissions present in the book. While Jinger's memoir delves into her personal struggles with the IBLP's teachings, it does not fully explore the broader context of the Duggar family's public scandals, particularly the abuse allegations that have surfaced in recent years. Many fans have noted that Jinger's book does not touch on the darker aspects of her family's history, such as the allegations of sexual abuse against her brother Josh Duggar, which have been widely reported in the media. The absence of these discussions raises the question of whether Jinger is consciously avoiding these topics in order to protect her family's reputation, or whether she simply does not feel ready to confront them publicly. Regardless of the reason, this omission has left some readers questioning the authenticity and depth of the memoir. The censorship of personal beliefs. Finally, some fans have expressed concern over what they perceive as the censorship of Jinger's more controversial personal beliefs. While Jinger openly discusses her departure from the Ibelpeace teachings, she does so in a way that feels controlled and measured, as if she is trying to present a palatable version of her journey that will appeal to her audience. This has led some to wonder if she is still trying to maintain a certain image or if she is holding back on sharing her true thoughts and feelings. While it is understandable that Jinger may want to protect her privacy, some readers feel that her memoir would have been more impactful had she been more honest and raw about the challenges and conflicts she faced during her transition. Without this level of vulnerability, the book can feel less like an authentic memoir and more like a carefully curated narrative. A memoir that leaves questions. Jinger Duggar's Becoming Free Indeed offers an intriguing glimpse into the life of someone who has made a dramatic break from her ultra-conservative upbringing. However, for many fans, the book raises more questions than it answers. From the inconsistent message of liberation to the potential commercialization of her story, there are several red flags that suggest that Jinger's memoir may not be as honest or revelatory as it initially appears. While Jinger's journey toward self-discovery and personal freedom is undoubtedly commendable, it remains to be seen whether her memoir truly captures the complexities of her transformation. In the end, Becoming Free Indeed may serve as both a testament to Jinger's growth and a reminder that even those who leave restrictive systems behind are still shaped by them. For fans hoping for a candid and unvarnished look at Jinger's life, this memoir may leave them wanting more.